All right, welcome back. This is your boy Hank Hackerson. This is Hank Hacks Hackers, and today we're going down the SOC Level 1 pathway, or we're continuing down this pathway. We already did Intro to Cyber Threat Intelligence, and we've already covered all of the cyber defense frameworks. So today we're going to be talking about the threat intelligence tools, which is this entire module right here. And this is actually one of the free rooms inside of tryhackme. And you can get access to this with just a basic subscription. And if you wanted to get, the more advanced rooms or the other stuff, for each room, I'm just going to declare whether or not it's one of the free rooms or you would require a paid subscription. But this is one of the free ones, and you're more than welcome to go ahead and get yourself the subscription and go through it as well. On top of this video, it kind of is a better learning experience if you go through it as well as watching the videos themselves. And then there's of course the paid subscriptions that it's $12 to get one, and if you use the link in the description below, you'll get an extra $5 credit towards it, so it ends up being $7 to get access to tryhackme and their entire suite of paid rooms and pathways, which is unbelievable. If you've seen any of the advanced rooms that we've done, you can kind of testify to that as well. So make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment, and turn on that notification bell so that you get notified the next time a video comes out. And we're just going to jump straight into it. So let's talk about threat intelligence. The outline of the room basically just says that these are the things that we're going to be learning, right? So it's not really that big of a deal. I don't need to read through this for you, but because especially since we're actually going to be going through all of these things in each of the individual tasks. So we're just going to jump right into it with threat intelligence. And it's the analysis of data and information using tools and techniques to generate meaningful patterns on how to mitigate against potential risks associated with existing or emerging threats targeting organizations, industries, sectors, governments, etc. This is a very long-winded answer, but it's basically to use information and data and then all of the tools that we're going to go through today to try to figure out who's attacking you and how they're attacking you, and these are the main questions that we're answering, right? So who's attacking, what's their motivation, what are they capable of doing, what are their actual capabilities, and what artifacts and indicators of compromise should you be on the lookout for? This is basically what we're trying to answer when we use any threat intelligence cycle or tool or anything like that. These are some of the classifications for threat intel. So you have strategic intel, which is a high-level intel. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit more. It's a high-level intelligence that looks into the organization's threat landscape and maps out the risk areas based on trends, patterns, emerging threats, and everything that may impact the business decisions or operations. Then there is technical intelligence, which looks into the evidence and artifacts of the attack used by an adversary. So this is kind of after the fact, or maybe if you have a good team during the attack. And incident response teams can use this intelligence to create a baseline attack surface to analyze and develop defense mechanisms. Then you have tactical intelligence, which looks at the actual tactics of the attacker and the adversary. Their tactics, techniques, and procedures, TTPs. We've talked about this a lot, and I'm guessing this is going to keep coming up. This intelligence can strengthen security controls and address vulnerabilities through real-time investigations, meaning it's happening live, and it should be happening before the attack happens, but at the very least it should be happening during the attack so that you can understand what's going on. And of course, when you review what happened after the fact and you go through your debriefing, all of that stuff would be coming to light. And then you have operational intelligence, which looks into the adversary's specific motives and intent to perform the attack. So what are they trying to do? Are they trying to extract data? Are they trying to destroy systems and bring the systems down? There's a lot of things that they could be doing, and that's what falls under operational intelligence. So we read through that, and we can move on to our first tool, which is urlscan.io. And urlscan.io is a free service developed to assist in scanning and analyzing websites. It is used to automate the process of browsing and crawling through websites to record activities and interactions. When a URL is submitted, the information recorded includes the domains, the IP addresses, and resources requested from the domains, a snapshot of the web page, technologies utilized, and a bunch of other stuff. And this site provides two views, so URL scan. And the first is showing the most recent scans performed, and the second one showing the current live scans. So this is not for search engine optimization or anything. This is specifically for what's being done against your domain as far as attacks or scans or things like that. And so you have your scan results, which is the summary of the scan, general information about the URL ranging from the identified IP addresses, domain registration details, page history, and screenshot of the site. HTTP provides information about the HTTP connections made by the scanner to the site, which details about the data fetched and the file types received. Any type of redirects that happened, so information on any identified HTTP and client-side redirects on the site. And this actually happened in one of the videos that we did recently, where we were building a network scanner, or I think it was either a subdomain scanner or a directory scanner. It was one of the ones that we did for Python for pen testing. And there were a lot of redirects on the websites that we were scanning, and so that probably would show up here as well. Then you have the links, so any and all identified links outgoing from the site's homepage, the behavior of the variables and cookies found on the site. This may be useful in identifying the frameworks used in developing the site. And then you have, of course, your indicators. So all IPs, domains, and hashes associated with the site. These indicators do not imply malicious activity. They're just indicators of what's associated with the site. And then you have this other screen right here. And I will just do like a deep dive on the actual situation so that you can kind of see what these different things are, because this is kind of quickly going through these different pages. So due to the dynamic nature of internet activities, data search can produce different results on different days as new information gets updated. So you have been tasked to perform a scan on tryhackme's domain, and the results obtained are displayed in the image below. Use the details on the image to answer the questions. So we're going to be using this image specifically to answer the questions that happen below. And so you have the obviously the domain itself, the submitted URL, the effective URL, submission on whichever the date it was, and then you have the summary that is going on here, and then the live information that's going on here, domain and IP information, and then we have the page URL history, the detected technologies, so on and so forth. So it's a fairly kind of an overview, helicopter view type of thing of the website. So let's see. It says, what was tryhackme's Cisco umbrella rank based on the screenshot? So let's see if we can find that. All right, it is right here. It's right in the summary description, which is the Cisco umbrella rank of the primary domain is 345612. So let's go and use that. 345612. Cool. How many domains did URL scan IO identify on the screenshot? So how many domains did they identify? And it's also in the summary, and it says there were 17 IPs in 4 countries across 13 domains. So let's use that, see if that works. Cool. What was the main domain registrar listed on the screenshot? And it is under live information. And so the domain registrar is Namecheap dot, or not dot, but it's Namecheap Inc. Very good. And so what was the main IP address identified for tryhackme on the screenshot? So this is the main IP address. I can't copy paste because it's an actual screenshot. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to actually open up urlscan.io, and I'm going to go to tryhackme.com. All right, and here is the main IP address, which is also in the top section right here, and we can just copy that, go down here, and now we can paste it. And that's the main IP address. So pretty useful. And since, I mean, we already have this loaded, we can look at the other tabs as well. You have the HTTPs, that have been done, the redirects that have been done, the links that are associated with it, right? And there's a good amount of information that is available. And this is for free, by the way. I didn't have to register for anything. I didn't have to do anything. This is a public scan that we did of tryhackme.com. So good stuff. Okay, so the next one is Abuse.ch. And this seems to be a little bit of a long one. So Abuse.ch is a research project hosted by the Institute for Cybersecurity and Engineering at the Bern University of Applied Sciences in Switzerland. It was developed to identify and track malware and botnets through several operational platforms developed under the project. These platforms are Malware Bazaar, Fiodo Tracker, SSL Blacklist, URL House, and ThreatFox. So Malware Bazaar is pretty obvious. It's just in the name. Fiodo Tracker is a resource used to track botnet command and control infrastructure linked with Emotet, Dridex, and TrickBot. That's interesting. SSL Blacklist, a resource for collecting and providing a block list for malicious SSL certificates. URL House, a resource for sharing malware distribution sites. And ThreatFox for sharing indicators of compromise, so IOCs. So very, very useful. This sounds like a very useful tool, honestly. So Malware Bazaar, as the name suggests, it's for anything about malware. So you have the malware samples upload. We can upload their malware samples. So as security analysts, we can upload malware samples for analysis and build an intelligence database. This can be done through the browser or an API, and there's malware hunting, so hunting for samples through setting up alerts to match various elements such as tag signatures, YARA rules, ClamAV signatures, and vendor detection, which is very, very useful. Then you have Fiodo Tracker, which is targeting intelligence on botnet and command and control servers associated with Dridex, Emotet, aka Fiodo, TrickBot, CACBot, Bazaar Loader, probably a few other ones as well. And it's achieved by providing a database of the CNC servers that security analysts can search through and investigate any suspicious IP addresses. Very cool. Then we have the SSL Blacklist. So it's developed to detect and identify malicious SSL connections. From these connections, certificates used by botnet C2 servers would be identified and updated on a deny list that is provided for use. The deny list is also used to identify JA3 fingerprints that would help detect and block malware botnet communications on the TCP layer. So it seems like a technical response, but it's actually very, very useful. So SSL certificates that have been previously used to do anything shady would be on here. There's also fingerprints from JA3 that would detect and block malware communication. So this is, it's technical, but it's really useful. So just know that, right? And we're probably gonna kind of do a use case of how to run through that. Then you have URL House. As the name points out, it's focused on sharing malicious URLs used for malware distribution. As an analyst, you can search through the database, domains, URLs, hashes, and file types that are suspected to be malicious and validate your investigation. So this is very useful as well. It provides feeds associated with countries, AS numbers, top-level domains, and anything that an analyst can generate based on specific search needs. So very useful. You have ThreatFox. With ThreatFox, security analysts can search for, share, and export indicators of compromise associated with malware. IOCs can be exported in various formats such as MISP events, Suricata IDS rule sets, domain host files, DNS response policies on JSON files, and CSV files. So very useful as well. So the IOC 212 yada 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 is identified under which malware alias on the name on ThreatFox. So we're going to take this. We're going to copy this thing. Why can't I copy it? There you go. Copy. And then we're going to go to, let me zoom out here. We're going to go to ThreatFox. Where's ThreatFox? URL house ThreatFox, very good. We're going to open up ThreatFox and we're going to go to the database and we're going to search for the malware. Got you. Okay, so the way that we had to search was to do this first. So you have to put IOC colon and then the actual IOC number, and then it will give us the specific indicator of compromise. And so this piece right here is the IP address, and then the 5555 is the port that it was attached to. So what are we looking for here? We are looking for the malware alias, I think is what it said. Yeah, so Katana is the answer. Very good. Which malware is associated with the JA3 fingerprint? This is the fingerprint on SSL blacklist. So now we're going to go here to SSL blacklist and we're going to do a little bit of a search. There we go, JA3 fingerprint. Got that, and boom, right here. It came up right away. Okay, very good. And so the malware name is this thing right here. So Drydex is the malware name. From the statistics page on URL House, what malware hosting network has the ASN number AS14061? So we're going to now go to URL House, which is right here. And we're going to search in the database. Okay, so the issue was that when I went over here, for whatever reason, when I searched for, and I think maybe I got the syntax wrong or something, when I was searched for the actual ASN number, it wouldn't bring any kind of result for me, and then I just did a Google search for the same exact context of the question, and we got it right here where it says, according to URL House, the malware hosting network with the ASN number 14061 is DigitalOcean-ASN. So let's see if that actually ends up working. Okay, there you go, that did work. So there is that. It's kind of weird that it didn't show up when I was just doing the regular search. Okay, so which country is the botnet IP address, this thing, associated with in Feodo Tracker? So that's our last question, and we're going to go to Feodo Tracker. And now we're looking for botnet CNCs. We're going to search here. There we go. Does it give us the country? It's GE, so I think it's Germany. Oh, my bad. It's not Germany. It is Georgia. Whoops. Georgia is the country name. Got it. Okay. Fair enough. And there we go. We got all of our answers for the section with Abuse.ch, which was pretty helpful, honestly. I think all of these are going to end up being super helpful. So let's go. We got now looking at PhishTool, and this is a phishing tool which thinks using the same machine. So let's see, it says before going into this task, click the Start Machine button to start the attached VM and open it in split view. You'll be using the same machine through tasks 7 and 8. So we don't need the attack box, we just need the machine with the split view right here. So I'm gonna shrink this back down just to kind of read through the instructions real quick. So what we got here is email phishing, of course, is one of the main precursors of any cyber attacks. If you go to the MITRE attack framework, you'll see that a lot of attack pathways have started with phishing emails. So unsuspecting users get duped into opening and accessing malicious files and links sent to them via email, and as a result, adversaries infect their victim system with malware, harvesting their credentials, personal data, yada yada yada. So you should by now you should know what phishing is. So For more information and content on phishing, check out these rooms. So there's 5 different rooms on phishing emails. I'm excited to check these out. I don't think I've done these rooms. I have not done these rooms, so that's exciting. That's going to be a good one. So PhishTool seeks to elevate the perception of phishing as a severe form of attack and provide a responsive means of email security. Through email analysis, security analysts can uncover email indicators of compromise, prevent breaches, and provide forensic reports that could be used in phishing containment and training engagements. PhishTool has 2 accessible versions, Community and Enterprise. We shall mainly focus on the community version and the core features in this task. Sign up for an account via this link to use the tool. So the core features include perform email analysis, heuristic intelligence, which has to do with the signatures inside the, where is it? Is baked into the tool to provide analysts with intelligence needed. Heuristic analysis, I know for a fact, has to do with the signatures that's inside of files and malware and stuff like that. So, and then you have classification and reporting. So perform analysis, it retrieves metadata from phishing emails and provides analysts with the relevant explanations and capabilities to follow the email's actions, attachments, and URL to triage the situation. Heuristic intelligence has to do with open source intelligence. It's baked into the tool to provide analysts with the intelligence needed to stay ahead of persistent attacks and understand what TTPs were used to evade security controls and allow the adversary to social engineer a target. And then you have the reporting and classification. Phishing email classifications are conducted to allow analysts to take action quickly. Additionally, reports can be generated to provide a forensic record that can be shared. Seems to be a very useful tool. There's additional features. So we have manage user reported phishing events, report phishing email findings back to users and keep them engaged in the process. Email stack integration from MS365 and Google Workspace. We are presented with an upload file screen from the analysis tab on login. Here we submit our email for analysis in the stated file formats. Other tabs include history, list all the submissions made in the resolutions, in tray, an enterprise feature used to receive and process phish reports posted by team members through integrating Google Workspace and Microsoft 365. Okay. And then you have the analysis tab that analyzes the headers, the received lines, X headers. These are extension headers added by the recipient mailbox to provide additional information. You have security, so email security frameworks and policies such as sender policy framework, domain keys identified mail, and domain-based message authentication, reporting and conformance, attachments, obviously, and message URLs, associated external URLs found in the email. So we can further perform lookups and flag indicators as malicious from these options. On the right-hand side of the screen, we are presented with the plain text and source details of the email. Okay, so that's what that looks like. So on whatever thing you click on the right side of the screen, it'll show you the source HTML, plain text, so on and so forth. So it's very useful. And above the plain text section, we have a resolve check mark. Here we get to perform the resolution of our analysis by classifying the email, setting up flagged artifacts, and setting the classification codes. Once the email has been classified, the details will appear on the resolution tab on the analysis of the email. So let's see what this looks like. Oh, I see, resolution is right there. And then resolve, got it. And then it'll show you whether it's malicious or safe, and then so on and so forth. Okay. Okay. Now here's the scenario. You are a Security Operations Center analyst and have been tasked to analyze a suspicious email, which is this thing, and it's going to be in our site that we just launched. To solve the task, open the email using Thunderbird or the attached VM, analyze it, and answer the questions. Okay, let's see. Let's zoom out and let's show this. This should be loaded by now. Okay, it seems like this is the actual email. I see. So what social media website is it pretending to be? It's pretending to be LinkedIn. What is the sender's email address? The sender's email address is this guy right here. So can we just copy this? Copy email address. Very good. Paste. and that's their email address. What is the recipient's email address? This is right here. Copy email address, and we're going to paste that here. What is the originating IP address? Defang the IP address. What's the hint? CyberChef has a defang recipe. Okay, so after studying certain documentation, here is what we have gotten to with this particular exercise. Okay, very good. I'm just going to minimize this just in case. We're also going to minimize this just in case. From what I understand, we can open it with a basic text editor. And then from here, we could do a search for IP address. Or what we're looking for is what? We're looking for the originating IP address. So it's probably going to be sender IP. And there we go. So we found something called sender IP, and this is the sender's IP address. So now I can go into CyberChef, and I can now defang the IP address. And I think what essentially what defang means is that it makes it so that it's not clickable. So when we put that over here, and then we go here, and we look for defang, drop that over here, this is what it looks like. Basically, it just puts brackets around the dots, and if it was a URL, it would put brackets around the dot as well, so that it's not clickable. That's what it means to defang something. So if we did that, this should be the answer. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so that was kind of the big learning curve for me, is that I just opened the email with a text editor instead of opening it inside Thunderbird or something, and then that makes it searchable so that you can actually search through all of the various clear text versions of the email, and then from there you find the actual IP address that you're looking for, and then from there you can go and handle the rest of it with CyberChef. So how many hops did the email go through to get to the recipient? And so to be able to calculate how many hops it went through, we need to find out how many times it was received. So it was received once, received twice, received 3 times, and received 4 times. Let's see if there's any more. Received SBF. I don't think that counts. It does not count. What else do we got? I think that's it. So I think 4 is the response, and it is supposed to be 1 digit. So let's see. It is. Okay, very good. So there you go. Okay, so Cisco Talos. Let's run into this real quick. So IT and cybersecurity companies collect massive amounts of information that could be used for threat analysis and intelligence. Being one of those companies, Cisco assembled a large team of security practitioners called Cisco Talos to provide actionable intelligence, visibility on indicators, and protection against emerging threats through data collected from their products. The solution is accessible as Talos Intelligence. And Cisco Talos encompasses 6 key teams. There's threat intelligence and interdiction. Quick correlation and tracking of threats provide a means to turn simple IOCs into context-rich intelligence. Then you have detection research. Vulnerability and malware analysis is performed to create rules and content for threat detection. Then you have engineering and development, provides the maintenance support for the inspection engines and keeps them up to date to identify and triage emerging threats. And then you have vulnerability research and discovery, working with service and software vendors to develop repeatable means of identifying and reporting security vulnerabilities. Communities maintains the image of the team and the open source solutions, and of course global outreach, which disseminates intelligence to customers and the security community through publications. So you can find more about that on their white paper. And then you have the Talos dashboard. So this looks pretty awesome. And it is, I don't know what view this is right here. So let's see. It says, Accessing the solution, we are first presented with a reputation lookup dashboard with a world map. This map shows an overview of email traffic with indicators of whether the emails are legitimate spam or malware across numerous countries. Click on any marker and we will see more information associated with the IP and host name address, volume on the day, and the type. At the top, we have several tabs that provide different types of intelligence sources. The primary tabs that the analyst would interact with are the vulnerability information and disclosed in zero-day vulnerability reports marked with CVE numbers and CVSS scores. So CVE is the common vulnerability and exposure, and then CVSS is the common vulnerability scoring system. Details of the vulnerabilities reported are provided when you select a specific report, including the timeline taken to get the report published. Microsoft vulnerability advisories are also provided with the applicable snort rules that can be used. So vulnerability reports, zero-day reports, and then there's Microsoft advisories that's available for each one of these as well. Then you have the Reputation Center, which is the next tab, and it provides searchable threat data related to the IPs and files using the SHA-256 hashes. Analysts would rely on these options to conduct their investigations. Additional email and spam data can be found under the email and spam data. And so here is the task. It says use the information gathered from inspecting email 1 from task 5 to answer the following questions using Cisco Talos intelligence. Please note that the VM launched in task 5 would not have access to the internet. That's what the problem was. I'm like, why is Google not loading? This is so annoying. Okay, so what is the listed domain of the IP address from the previous task? So let's go back to this machine real quick and let's open up. I should not have closed Pluma, but it seems that I did close Pluma. So email 1, and we're going to open it with Pluma. And we're going to go here. So it says, what is the email associated with, or the domain of the IP address from the previous task? Okay, so first I'm going to find the sender IP one more time. And here's the sender IP. And I don't think it's WHP servers or any of this stuff. So we're actually going to use Cisco Talos intelligence to see if we can find it. So Talos intelligence, we're here. Let's see if we can search right away. The domain is scnet.net. So let's see if that's it. Okay, that is the answer. What is the customer name of the IP address? So the customer name, let's see what we can find here. Okay, so when I looked at the information that is on Talos, from what I researched, it's supposed to be available under the whois information of the IP address. But as you can see right here, there's no information here. It says we can't find any results, possibly IP address is unallocated or the whois server is not available, which is kind of useless. So I went to a different website. It's called whatismyipaddress.com, and I just searched for it, and this is, I believe, the customer. So the internet service provider, I believe, is the customer name, because this is a 3-word answer and it looks like it would be that. So we're going to click on this. What was the hint? Perform a whois lookup against the IP to identify the customer. So we could have just done that from the beginning, but I literally clicked around this website trying to find that information, and it doesn't have it on Talos. So we needed to find it either way, and that's basically what I had to do to find it. And now you have the answer, but I want you to learn how to find the answer, and research is always the key. So just learn how to be a good researcher, and more often than not, you'll actually be able to find the information that you need. So that was it for our last tool, which is the Cisco Talos intelligence. And now, based on the information that we have at task 5, it said that we're going to be using the same machine to go through tasks 7 and 8, which is these two right here, the scenarios that we have to answer as well. So I am going to keep this machine open, and we're going to try to answer the scenarios as well. So scenario 1. All right, so for scenario 1, we are essentially going to kind of repeat the process. We're a SOC analyst. Several suspicious emails have been forwarded to me from other coworkers. You must obtain the details from each email to triage the incident. And so we're going to be using email 2 from the attached machine. So I'm going to close this thing right here, and I'm going to try to repeat the process. So first I'm going to open it with Pluma, and then I'm going to open it with what is it, Firefox, what is it thing? It's not, I forget what the name of the thing is. What if I just double click it? It should open up inside. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. So this is the email itself. And so let's see, it says, what is the recipient's email address, which is this person right here. So we're going to copy this email, paste that, and that should be the recipient email. And so from Talos Intelligence, the attached file can also be identified by the detection alias that starts with an H. So is there an attachment here? Let's see if we can find that. And there you go. The attachment is at the bottom right here, and it is the proforma invoice. Okay, so inside the text file, couldn't really find anything that would be useful to this. So what we need to do is we need to figure out what the attachment information itself is. And since there is no internet to the machine that we're using right now, I have to figure it all out within the local machine that I have right here, and then try to gain that information within whatever we got here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to download the attachment and save it to the desktop. So we should have it right here, which is this thing right here. And then from here, I'm going to try to get the hash value of this so that we can go and do some research in the various resources that we have. So the first step is to get the hash value of the malware file. So in a perfect world, we would be able to actually go to PhishTool, which is the tool that's attached to this task right here, but we don't have internet access. So what we got to do is we got to find the file hash without going to PhishTool. And I'm just going to do it just to kind of give you the example here. So if I do a search for PhishTool, we're going to get a problem loading the page because we don't have internet access on this particular machine. So the way that we're going to do it is we're going to do it through the command line, and we're going to get the hash value of the file. And specifically, we want the SHA-256 hash value of the file. So I'm going to get the command for that, and then from there we're going to take that hash value, and then we can now copy paste that and then use the internet to find the rest of the information that we need to find. So the first step is to get the command to get the SHA-256 hash value of a file from the terminal. Okay, it's a very simple command actually. So we just need the name of the file, the specific name or path of the file. So I'm going to do an ls command first, just so I can see where we are. So I need to go to desktop first, do an ls, and that's the file that we're looking at right here, which is this thing. So this whole thing, I'm going to copy this just to make it easier. And then the command itself is SHA-256 sum, like that. And then you're going to put the path to the file, and it should just spit out the response for us. And there it is. So up until where the name starts, which is right here, that's the SHA-256 hash value. So we're going to copy that, and then we're going to use that for the rest of our research. And so the place that we want to go to is virus total, and maybe even a couple of other places, because we can go to Talos Intelligence or any other resources. They said that we could use, essentially, you could use your own resources or use the tools and knowledge discussed throughout this room. So we're going to use that hash value to go through a couple of different places. So first we're going to go to Talos Cisco, and I'm just going to paste this at the very beginning and see what information comes up with this. We're going to confirm that I'm not a robot, and we got some good information here. And so what we want to do is we want to find the attachment about the Trojan, and they said it starts with an H, right? So I believe it's this thing right here. So if we actually go here, it's the second line item, and I could probably just do that, copy that, and then let's go here and try that out. And there it is. So simple enough. So in a perfect world, we would have internet access on our machine, and we would be able to use the actual attachment itself and go to a place like PhishTool. So I'm going to go to this tab and just show you what PhishTool will allow us to do, because we can register for it, and then we can attach the file to it, right? So you can actually go to, let's see, or maybe in the actual description right here, we would be able to see what it allows us to do, right? So there you go. Yeah. So under analysis, so in tray analysis right here, it actually allows you to attach a file so that it can analyze it for you. And that's under the analysis tab of PhishTool. And when you do that, you can do the EML attachment, which is the full email attachment, right? So if we go back to our file explorer right here, it would be this thing. You would go and attach the actual EML file, which is the full email. And then within that, it would analyze everything inside that EML file, including the attachments, right? And any file attachments that are installed and located in it, then you would be able to click on the attachment tab right here. And then from that, you would get more information about the attachment, so on and so forth. And part of that would probably include the SHA-256 hash value of the attachment. And so since we didn't have access to this, unfortunately, we had to kind of figure out a workaround to it. And the best way to do that is use the command line. And since the machine allows us to download the file to the machine, even though we don't have internet access, we could still go to the email file, which is this thing right here. And at the bottom, it shows us the attachment. So we could download that attachment to our local machine that we had, and then just run a very basic command like SHA-256 sum to get the SHA-256 hash value of that attachment. And then once we have this, we can just copy this to our clipboard and then use our own internet access and everything else that we got to do some research here. And that's basically what we did over here. So it gives you a lot of great information inside Talos Intelligence. Based on some of the documentation that I read, you could even use VirusTotal, and you could use a lot of other tools to find that information. But from Talos Intelligence, from Cisco, we got all the information that we needed and then some. I mean, there's a lot of information about this attachment. So this hash value, wait, what did I do? This hash value is where all of the information was attached to, right? Because they could very easily change anything about the attachment and do a lot of different things with it. And so that's basically what we had to do to find the hash value and eventually the answer to our second question at the bottom right here, which is what is identified, the detection alias of that attachment, which is this thing, hidden ext/worm.gen. So there's scenario 1. Let's jump into scenario 2. And scenario 2 seems to be very similar. You're a SOC analyst, emails have been forwarded to you and they're suspicious. And so you're going to use the tools and knowledge throughout this room to help you analyze email 3 and everything else from that we got. So first and foremost, what's the name of the attachment on email 3? And then what malware family is associated with the attachment on email 3? So we're going to go here, going to open up email 3, and it's going to open it up inside our file right here. And this is the name of the email. So it's sales receipt 5606 XLS. So sales receipt 5606 XLS. That's the name. So what malware family is associated with the attachment on email 3. So let's see what information we can get about that. So our first step, as usual, is to just open it up inside a regular text editor and look at the attachment that's attached to this thing. And so it says, what does it say here? Okay, so obviously inside the text editor, it's not going to tell us the malware family of this thing. So I'm just going to repeat the process that we did with the last one, which was we're going to open this thing. And is it this one? Yep, it is this one. And so I'm going to download this and we're going to save it to our desktop. And we're going to get the hash value of the file and see if we can find anything in regards to the actual hash value of that file. So we're going to go in our desktop in a terminal, do ls, and we're going to copy the full path, including the quotes around the path. And we're just going to run the command, sha256 sum, and then you're going to paste it, see what we can get. And this is the path, or the sha256. And so now I'm going to go to Talos and go back to the home page, and I'm going to paste the new sha256 sum. And so let's see what we got over here. It says Talos way to score is not available. The file itself is supposed to be malicious, obviously. So malware family is what we're trying to look for here to see what kind of information it is. I think it's a Trojan based on what this says over here. So virus, it could be a virus, it could be a Trojan. Malicious confidence is definitely 100. Trojan downloader, Trojan. So it seems like Trojan might be the answer. If it's not Trojan, it's probably a virus, as it says. So let's try Trojan, because Trojan comes up very frequently. Oops. Trojan is not it. Virus is not it. Okay, let's see what we can find with the rest of our information that we got. Okay, so this is what the virus total response was. And we have some family labels over here. So there are family labels of Valeria, DRIDEX, could be any of those. There's threat category, so maybe it's not a threat category because Trojan falls under that. So family label could be Valeria or DRIDEX. X97M is only 4 characters, so I don't think that's the response they're looking for. So let's see, DRIDEX. That is the answer. There you go. So what malware family is associated with the attachment on email 3? So we basically ran the same process, right? We downloaded the attachment. We got the 256 sum for the attachment using a very simple command in the command line. And then we copied that sum, the hash value, and then we first checked the Talos database, and it didn't give it to us over here. Maybe I missed it, so let me do a screen search. Oh, it is right here. So it is actually, it shows up here multiple times. I just didn't recognize it because it doesn't categorize it as a family or anything like that. But Drydex or Dredex, whatever, has shown up on this page several times as well. So if you knew how to, or if I knew how to read these things, we could probably conclude that it belongs to the Drydex family, but I didn't. So the next thing that I did was I just went to virus total, and then I searched for the malware. So this is basically what the home page looks like, and then you could just do a search, and then in the search bar you could drop the hash value, and then when you press enter, it'll show you all the details of the malware, including the vendor analysis and all these different things, all these different companies saying that this is definitely malware. And then from there, what it's going to do is it's going to tell us the family labels, which we had over here. And the one that seemed the most compatible, not compatible, the most probable, that's a good answer. The most probable was Drydex. And so we used Drydex, and that was our answer. So there you go. Scenario 2 answer is done. And it seems to be that we are pretty much done with this task. So there's more out there, as it says. There's all these other rooms. So Yara, MISP, Red Team, Threat Intelligence. Let's check out Yara. Is this a free room? It is not a free room. So only subscribers can deploy virtual machines in this room. But it's not a room that I've done before. So I'm excited to learn about Yara as well. And I'm guessing these other ones are not free rooms as well, because because the room that we're in right now is a free room. And so this would kind of be like an attempt to upsell you to one of the paid rooms. And yeah, so these are all subscriber-based rooms. So the subscription is $12. If you use the link in the description below, the subscription will become $7 because you'll get a $5 credit towards your subscription. So very affordable to actually do it, and you'll get access to a lot of advanced rooms and a lot of great advanced information, and you can become a better security analyst and hacker, so on and so forth. So this is your boy Hank Hackerson with Hank Hacks Hackers, and this was another room that we did on the pathway of SOC level 1 for tryhackme. And make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment if you have any questions or if you have any takeaways, and definitely turn on that notification bell so that you get notified the next time that we drop something. So I'm going to terminate this machine and I will move on to the next room in our pathway. Hopefully you had a great time. Talk to you soon.